Hey, welcome back. I was walking through my neighborhood in Brooklyn the other day, just getting a coffee, and I saw something that stopped me in my tracks. It was a police car, parked on the corner, but it wasn't responding to a call. The officers inside were just watching, their eyes scanning the street, but not randomly. It felt deliberate, like they were looking at a specific script only they could see. And it got me thinking about the invisible map they might be following. A map drawn not by human intuition, but by lines of code. A map that claims to predict the future. I'm Ibnul Jaif Farabi, and this is the Unraveling Thread. Today, we're pulling on a dangerous loop of technology and justice. We're asking, what happens when we outsource suspicion to an algorithm? This is episode 15, the Predictive Policing Feedback Loop, how algorithms invent crime. Let's start with the promise. It sounds so logical, so efficient. Police departments are overworked, resources are thin, and crime is complex. So, in the early 2000s, a concept took hold: predictive policing. The idea was that by feeding historical crime data, dates, times, locations, types of offenses, into sophisticated algorithms, software could spit out forecasts. It could generate maps highlighting boxes or hot spots, where crime was most likely to occur next. The sales pitch was a win-win. Police could be proactive, communities would be safer, and the inherent biases of human officers could be sidestepped by cold, hard, neutral math. It was a technologist's dream applied to one of society's oldest problems. But here's the first thread we need to tug on. That historical crime data is not a clean, objective record of all crime that happens. It is, very simply, a record of where police have already been looking. It's data generated by past policing patterns. If a neighborhood has been over-policed for decades due to systemic bias or racial profiling, that neighborhood will generate a high volume of crime data. More stops, more arrests, more reports. Feed that skewed data into an algorithm, and what does it do? It learns. It learns that this neighborhood is a high-crime area. It then directs more police patrols to that same neighborhood. And what happens when you send more police to a specific area? You find more crime. You make more stops. You generate more data, which confirms the algorithm's prediction. And the loop tightens. The algorithm isn't predicting crime. It's predicting policing. It's using the ghosts of past bias to dictate future enforcement. And in doing so, it invents a perpetual reality of criminality for certain communities. This isn't a hypothetical. We've seen it play out. Take the case of one widely used algorithm that assigned individuals a risk score for future criminal involvement. The data it was trained on was riddled with disparities. So, the algorithm amplified them. It consistently flagged Black and Latino individuals as higher risk, often based on factors like their zip code or the criminal records of their friends and family. This isn't just a faulty product. It's a digital prophet of a self-fulfilling prophecy. A person living in a hotspot box on the map is now statistically more likely to be stopped, questioned, or surveilled. That increased contact with the justice system itself becomes a data point, raising their risk score, which justifies even more surveillance. The individual is now caught in the loop, their life path being nudged by a feedback cycle they can't even see. And this is where my perspective as an engineer really hits home. In tech, we talk about garbage in, garbage out. If your input data is flawed, your output will be catastrophically flawed, no matter how elegant your code is. But with predictive policing, the consequence isn't a crashed app or a bad product recommendation. It's liberty. It's the erosion of trust. It's the cementing of inequality into the digital infrastructure of our cities. We engineers build these systems with a belief in logic, but we often fail to audit the foundational truth of the data. We treat historical data as a neutral fact of nature, like the law of gravity, when it's actually a deeply human, deeply biased artifact of our own history. There's a profound societal shift here, too. These tools create a veneer of scientific objectivity. It's hard for a police chief or a city council to argue with a data-driven map. It feels innovative. It feels smart. It absolves human decision-makers of responsibility. The algorithm told us to go here becomes an unimpeachable defense, but it's a shield for the status quo. It automates and legitimizes discrimination under the cool, clean banner of big data. It turns systemic bias into a closed, self-justifying system. The community living inside that digital hotspot experiences it not as innovation, but as an inescapable reality, a constant, heightened police presence that feels less like protection and more like occupation. The trust that's essential for real community policing evaporates. And without that trust, real crime solving becomes impossible. So where does that leave us? Do we throw the tech out entirely? Maybe. But at the very least, we need a radical transparency and a fundamental rethinking. These algorithms are often proprietary black boxes, owned by private companies. Police departments use them, but can't fully explain them. Defendants can't challenge them. We, the public, can't audit them. That is incompatible with justice. Justice requires explanation. It requires the ability to question and confront your accuser. How do you confront an algorithm? For me, coming from Bangladesh, a country with its own complex history with governance and surveillance, and now living in the heart of the tech empire, this feels like a critical global juncture. We are encoding our past failures into the systems that will shape our future. We're building digital cages based on old, broken maps. The way out of the loop has to start with acknowledging that data is not truth. Data is a reflection of our actions, our biases, our history. Before we use data to predict the future, we have to be brave enough to critically examine what it's really telling us about our past. The real prediction we should be working on isn't where crime will happen, but how we can build cities where opportunity isn't dictated by your zip code. The most important algorithm we need is one that calculates justice, not just risk. It's a harder problem, for sure. It requires human wisdom, not just machine learning. It requires listening to the communities being mapped and policed and letting that feedback break the loop. Thank you for listening. If this conversation resonated with you, if it made you look at your own city a little differently, please share this episode with one person. Help us unravel these threads together. For more from me, Ibnul Jaif Farabi, and the entire team, subscribe to the Unraveling Thread wherever you get your podcasts. This is a production of Light Knot Studios. You can find our full archive and learn more about our work at lightknotstudios.com. Until next time, stay curious.